Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to a new, but also my old, living and filming location. I am at my mom's house tonight because I wanted to see my cat, who's over there being crazy. I'm at my mom's house tonight, so I thought I'd take advantage of being around my extended collection of books. Really, this is the primary. This is where I keep most of my books. I'm gonna film a bookshelf tour, by the way, soon in my studio apartment, so you can see what's up there, but like literally, I forget how many books that I own now that I don't live here anymore, but like I still have all my books. Ooh, I come here, man. You're gonna hear the air conditioning come on in a second, by the way. It's hot as baloney. It's hot as balls. It's hot as... What was I saying? I forget how many books that I own. And then I come here and I swear I almost have a stroke, you know? It's literally insane. It is off the charts. I haven't read a lot of them either because I'm a collector. I'm a collector. This is how we do it. But I have also read a lot of them as well. So look at that plot twist. But today, what I wanted to do was a video recommending, now I don't like this title, but here we're going for it. Weird books for weird girls. But I've been seeing that phrase, tagline, whatever, all over online recently. So I guess I'm jumping on the bandwagon. But I've been seeing that all over online. Essentially what that means is like books written by women. This is what I've been seeing so far. Books written by women about women kind of experiencing malaise and apathy and depression and distaste, kind of a thing, and just kind of going through something psychologically icky, but also very real and normal, you know? And kind of dealing with it, usually not very plot focused, very vibey. Very vibey. I really like those books. I'm a big fan of that kind of style of modern literature. It's super modern. Oh, yeah. I feel like it's the vibe, it's the moment, you know? But I thought I see people recommending basically like the same 10 books for that category online all the time. But I see people recommending the same 10 books basically for that category. And I said, this just will not do. I feel like I have some good books to recommend, so let's jump into it. I will say though beforehand, these are not all written by women. These are not all about women, but I just, for whatever reason, feel like they fit the vibe. I feel like if you're a reader who likes weird girl literature, or weird books for weird girls literature, then you might find something in this collection that I'm about to recommend that you do like. A lot of these are written by women, just FYI, but a couple of them are not. The first three, I guess, aren't, so let's jump right in. We have Dennis Johnson's Train Dreams. Ooh, I love this. I think I read this in 2021. It's super slim, super tiny. It's a beautiful novella. I think I read this in like 2021. It was one of my favorite books of the year. It's the only thing that I've read by Dennis Johnson thus far, and it is essentially chronicling the life of this man at the turn of the, kind of in the 1900s, so kind of in the 20th century, right? The end of the 19th century going into the 20th century, when we start to see industrialization boom. We get the railroads coming into town. He's living in the United States. He is a logger, right? Is that what he is? What I remember is he's helping build part of the railroad going on, but then he also becomes kind of like a hermit. Essentially, like I said, it's about the whole philosophy and time period of going from a slower, quieter way of living into like through the industrialization boom of that time period. And again, he totally becomes a hermit. Big fan of this dude. And it's also kind of about his family and his wife and his daughter and what happens there. which is very interesting. I really loved this. This was also, did I mention already? It was also featured on the Times 100 Best Books of the Century list, the one that like the famous people and the authors did, because I know they did another one with the readers. But I'd really recommend this, okay? Moving on. We have First Love by Yvonne Turgenev. Listen to me. I really think that you ladies, gents, and everyone in between would really like this. Again, if you're into weird girl fiction or weird fiction. This is a Russian classic, and it is about a boy. It's also super slim, by the way, so another novella. And it is about a boy who finds himself in a group of other men or boys, and they're all talking about their first love. And he's like, well, I have an interesting story for you. And he does, and it's about that story. It's about his relationship growing up. It's about the concept of loss of innocence, his relationship with his father and his family. And I think you might really like it. So that is that. If you're into like a short Russian classic, maybe give it a go. Ooh, okay. We also have The Tartar Steppe by Dino Buzzati, which is an Italian work of fiction. I think this was, what was this translated? Yeah, translated from the Italian by Stuart C. Hood. Did I say that right? Yeah. And this is a slow ass book, but very philosophically deep. Okay. So basically we're following this kid, this young boy who is like, wants to join the military because he wants to go fight off in battles and have a really fascinating story. He finally wants to live, you know? He wants to face the explosiveness of life, have a story, really do something that makes his life worth something, really finally grow up and experience life. And he thinks, you know, being in the military and having an experience like that would be that for him. So he goes off to this camp, this encampment, this station where this group of men of all different ages, you could see like all different walks of life, are just standing there waiting for a battle to happen, waiting for action to happen, waiting for something to happen before they die. And you can see a lot of these men have been there the majority of their lives or at the end of their lives. And then the young people come in and they're really eager, they're really excited, but nothing ends up happening. And this is such a philosophically rich book about the concept of wasting time, wasting your life, wasting time waiting for something to happen, how pretty much everything is a little bit of a waste of time if you think about it, so you might as well just do whatever you want. Obviously be a good person, but really would recommend that one. I also love this cover. So moving on to some female authors. We have Femme de Gilles by Madeleine Bordeaux, which is translated by Faith Evans from the French. Another slim book. Boy, do I love this. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I really recommend this. Oh my goodness. Ooh, do I recommend this. This was published in France in 1937. And we are following a woman who is married to this man. They have children. Is she pregnant? I don't remember if she's pregnant. Living in a small town. He's going to work. She's doing her thing. And it's about her husband having an affair with someone. Ooh, so upsetting. So this woman, I'm not doing a good job explaining this. She is a wife and a mother. So she is now no longer a person. She is now the character of wife and mother. And therefore has lost her intrigue. People have, like, her husband's losing interest in her because she's just there. She is just there essentially to fulfill these roles of wife and mother. So the husband again is having this affair. We see her, it's from her perspective. We see her lusting briefly after these men who are doing work, and we see her just trying to like have her own thoughts and like find her own voice. Oh my gosh, I need to reread this. Love this. Totally recommend it. And then we also have The Lady in the Little Fox Fur by Violet Leduc, which I think is also translated from the French by Derek Coltman. Another super slim novella, and we are following an older woman now who is kind of impoverished, doesn't really have a lot of money, but she has this beautiful fox fur, right? She's walking around, I think it's Paris, yeah, it must be Paris. She's walking around Paris doing her thing, and we see her observations, we see her lusting after younger men, we see her observing people not observing her, because to her, and the concept of this book, you know, as you age, as you become an older woman, you become obsolete, and what that means for her in her life. So I totally recommend The Lady in the Little Fox Fur. That was beautifully written. Really love that. Oh, I have another book written by a man. I'm so sorry. But The Invention of Morel, again, super slim, by Adolfo Bio. I'm gonna look that up in a second, but Adolfo Bioy Caceres. Translated from, I think, the Spanish, by Ruth Elsie Sims. If you liked Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, I think you're really gonna like The Invention of Morel. Totally. Totally similar vibes, same kind of thing going on. We follow a male character who's on the run. Does he break out of prison? I don't entirely remember, but he's on the run, and he ends up on this island where he meets this young woman who doesn't seem to, or he's observing this young woman who doesn't seem to know that he's there. There is a bunch of people on the island that are sometimes there and sometimes not, but they are having gatherings, parties, and that's all I'm gonna say. He's like observing them, but they don't know he's there, and they don't respond to him when he tries to interact with them. The Invention of Morel, super weird. It wasn't personally to my taste. Neither was Piranesi. If I'm being honest, I didn't care for Piranesi, but I know a lot of people absolutely adore that book. And I know I've seen a lot of people online say they love this as well, and they're totally similar vibes. So yeah, I think it's another weird thing. You know what I'm saying? Also, an author. I'm just gonna blanket statement recommend this entire author. I think Ali Smith, but specifically The Accidental. I love this book. I'd say Ali Smith is like not top tier favorite author of all time for me, but she's second tier favorite author of all time for me. And I don't know exactly how to explain that, but it's just the vibe, you know? Very similar to The Guest by Emma Cline, which I just recently read and really liked. But we are following a family who's on vacation for the summer, and essentially this young woman just kind of like walks into their vacation home or walks into their home and start like acting like she lives there. She has a relationship to an extent with all of the people in the family. I think it's a daughter, a son, a husband, and a wife. And it's about how her coming into their family really highlights problems that were already existent, or that already existed in that family's dynamics. So super interesting, beautifully written. I love Ali Smith. She's pretty stream of consciousness. She's very of the now, so she's super present in her time, but she's also kind of poetic, and she has such fantastic plays on words and language, and I love Ali Smith, and I love The Accidental so much. Is this my favorite of hers that I've read? I think this is my favorite of hers that I've read, honestly. But I do recommend, you know, she has Girl Meets Boy, which oh my gosh, this like was throwing me off. It really turned its story on its head in the second half. Ooh, Following Two Sisters. It's about internalized misogyny. You hear from both of their perspective, and they're both very different. These are great. She also has her seasonal quartet, which is fantastic. So autumn, winter, spring, and summer. I absolutely loved all of these. Some of them I liked more than others, but I did really love all of these. I think they're all totally worth the read. She's since extended that series, and it contains companion piece, which I didn't love this, if I'm being honest, but The original seasonal quartet, fantastic. Very specifically, though, recommending The Accidental. So there you go. We also have, I think that, again, if you like weird fiction, you'd like all of this author's work. But my favorite is The Answers, and the author is Catherine Lacey. I read this such a long time ago, so let's see if I can summarize what I recall it being about. Essentially, we are following a female character who agrees to be a part of a study of this man. Is it a man? It's someone trying to discover what, love is. Yeah. It's a girlfriend experiment. He's trying to discover, what love is, and he's got, the experiment has a bunch of different girlfriends, and they're all assigned a role that they're really supposed to stick to. So specifically this type of girlfriend and this type of girlfriend and this type of girlfriend, and I think he's trying to figure out which one is best. Yeah. Does that sound interesting? This book is really, really good, but let me read the back to you so you get the legit synopsis. Mary Parsons is broke. Dead broke, really. Between an onslaught of medical bills and a mountain of credit card debt, she has been pushed to the brink. Hounded by bill collectors and still plagued by the painful and bizarre symptoms that doctors couldn't diagnose, Mary seeks relief from a holistic treatment. Miraculously, it works, but the treatment is prohibitively expensive, so she scours for a second job, only to land on a high-paying gig that's even stranger than her symptoms. She is to become one of many girlfriends in an experiment devised by a wealthy and infamous actor, Kurt Skye, whose goal is to build and create the perfect romantic relationship. With Kurt as the only constant, an orbit of women become girlfriends with different functions: maternal, angry, mundane, emotional, and a whole group of intimates. With so little to lose, Mary falls headfirst into Kurt's messy, ego-driven, I actually don't know what this word is, simulacrum of human connection. Told in Catherine Lacey's signature spiraling hypnotic prose, The Answers is both a mesmerizing dive into the depths of one woman's psyche and a critical look at the conventions and institutions that infiltrate our most personal private moments. Yeah, read this. Very good. Last but not least, I have an author that, again, I'd recommend pretty much all of her work to you, but this is hands down my favorite, another one of my favorite books of all time. The author is Clarice Lispector, and this is The Hour of the Star. You can't see the title, but I promise it's The Hour of the Star. Oh my god, wait, first of all, let me just say, Clarice Lispector's writing style, super stream of consciousness as well. You are just in the psyche of each of her female narrators in each of her books, and you are spiraling with them, you are thinking with them, you are feeling with them. It is so good. She's such a poetic author, and she was Brazilian. I think she was from Brazil. So this was translated by Benjamin Moser. Yes, but we were following our young female narrator, and she is very poor, very impoverished, but she is literally the happiest person ever, and you see so many people around her wondering why she's so happy when she has so little, but nothing can break her spirit. She just has such a fantastic philosophy on living and on life, but you don't hear from her specifically. It's a very psychologically interesting book. It's a very philosophically interesting book. It took me a long time to read this very short novel, but I would really, really recommend this one. So yes, those are the books that I would recommend for people who like weird girl literature, weird girl fiction. You know? That's what I'd recommend. Oh no, I forgot someone. Hold that thought. I really did forget someone. I'm so sorry. Elena Ferrante. Elena Ferrante. Seriously. This is another one of my favorite books of all time, The Lost Daughter, about a woman who has two daughters who are all grown up, and she is a professor and she's on vacation in Italy, and she's observing this Italian family living their life. There's like a young mother, a part of that family who has a young daughter, who has this doll, by the way, who's the lost daughter. But like, who really is the lost daughter, you know what I mean? And she has like this sexual infatuation, or this infatuation with this young boy who works there. And she's also like really infatuated with this young mother who has this daughter. And she's thinking about her life and her experience with motherhood and being a woman. And I'd really recommend The Lost Daughter. So good. But yeah, Elena Ferrante. She also has Troubling Love and Days of Abandonment, which are both fantastic. This is about a woman whose husband leaves her. And this one is about mother-daughter relationship. So yeah. Now, that is my list of recommendations. Please let me know if you've read any of these, if you agree with me. I know they're not like the traditional weird girl fiction recs, but that's the point of this. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.